Sheilas and fellas, a few weeks ago we picked up this LG OLED 5K 45-inch display from Best Buy on an open box sale for just under $1,200 and we have absolutely loved it. This monitor does have a few issues though that some people might hate. Firstly, this thing takes up a ton of space on my desk. It is also curved beyond belief, and last but not least, I have actually been using it as my main monitor on my sim rig, so we need something else to edit these videos, mate. So we thought to ourselves, screw it, let's buy the best 32-inch monitor available right now. Another LG UltraGear, this time with a 4K OLED display capable of up to 240Hz refresh rate at 4K or an unbelievable 480Hz at 1080p. Today we will do a full review of this beast and compare it to our 45-inch 5K OLED to see which one you should go with based on your use case. Let's get to it. Now, as you can see, this box has seen better days, and that's because I did not buy this thing brand new. Like, seriously, this monitor costs $1,099 United States dollars and 95 American cents on Amazon for only 32 inches of real estate. Even Hank can't fathom that price, so as per usual, the Glizzy went deal hunting and was able to snag this baby on Amazon's open box retail website for $847. Still kinda insane, but definitely better than $1,100. Now, it says that this monitor is in very good condition and it was delivered on June the 10th, which is also my birthday, so let's see if we got a nice present or a steaming used turd burger. And as we open her up, we can see that we have the monitor stand and base staring back at us, along with this big brown box containing the power cable and all the accessories, so nothing is missing in here, mate. And then finally, once we remove the packaging foam, we can see all 32 inches of this glorious display sitting nice and quietly, and while it doesn't have any protection on it, I can't see any damage, so that is a great sign to start this video off. When it comes to assembling the stand, it is easier than your mother. It simply clicks in like so and you are good to go, and we can even see the ARGB light bars have protective tape on it, so it looks like it's in pretty good nick for an open box monitor. And when we fade to black, here she is in all of her ARGB glory, and she looks newer than the day the LG CEO gave birth to her. Frank, what the hell are you doing here, mate? Nobody wants to see your lifeless body. Where is Hank at? There you are, mate. You're late. We need to get to work. So as we flip this bad boy around, the screen is in immaculate condition, and unlike most OLEDs which have a glossy panel that reflects light off like crazy, this thing has a matte finish. Look how black it is, mate. It is literally like staring into the void. The monitor stand that it comes with is pretty sturdy, but there is a bit of movement if you have a wobbly desk like us, but it does have an adapter for VESA mounting, so that will solve that issue pretty easily. Now, in terms of size, it's definitely not bad, but when we compare it to its older, sexier 45-inch 5K brother, it gets absolutely frame mogged. Look at the difference when they are going back to back. And not only is this thing 13 inches shorter in width, but when we have them sitting next to each other, you can also see the height of the screen is also a bit smaller, about 1.7 inches. This is truly what 6 foot versus 5'11" looks like, mate. Now, obviously, the 45-inch monitor has a very aggressive 800R curve, whereas this bad boy is completely flat. But the amazing thing about both of these monitors is that even when you look at them from some pretty aggressive side angles, the picture still looks absolutely perfect, and thanks to the matte finish, effectively zero glare, mate. It's honestly so impressive how good these things look from the side. Now, the monitors do have some similarities in their display. They both have an amazingly fast 0.03 millisecond response time, 98.5% DCI P3 color gamut, and they have almost the exact same level of STR brightness and up to around 1300 nits of peak brightness for tiny HDR highlights. But the big difference other than the size is the refresh rate. The 45-inch 5K display can do 5K by 2K at 165 Hz and then 2560 by 1080p at 330 Hz, whereas the smaller 32-inch monitor can do an unbelievable 4K 240 Hz and 1080p at a bonkers 480 Hz, mate. What the hell, LeBron James, is going on? Now, all you have to do to activate it is go into your on-screen menu like so, toggle on over to game adjust and turn on dual mode, and just like that, the refresh rate is now faster than a speeding bullet. Now, don't get me wrong, this is very cool theoretically, but I am in the camp that says you cannot see a difference between 240 Hz versus 480 Hz, and even if you can, I don't think it's going to improve your performance, mate. It's a straight up placebo effect. And secondly, most PCs are not even capable of reaching 480 Hz at 1080p for most games. I mean, let's use Fortnite for an example. example, you can play this game on a potato, it's not very hard to run, and it came out before Hank was born. We are using this RTX 5080 with an Intel Ultra 9 and 64 gigabytes of RAM to benchmark this thing, and we are playing it on DirectX 12 performance mode, so everything low but epic view distance. And even when we set DLSS to performance, we aren't even cracking 240 Hz at 4K, mate. So that is a bit of a bummer, but then we switch over to 480 Hz at 1080p with the same performance mode graphics, and we are still sitting at around 250 Hz. Now, technically, you can blame this on the Intel Ultra 9 because it's not the best gaming CPU, but even when we switched to the 9850X3D, it was only capable of pushing 350 Hz at 1080p, so unless you are playing some easier to run competitive games like Counter-Strike or Valorant, what's even the point of this, mate? In saying that though, when we did switch over to 1080p, the resolution still looked gorgeous. It didn't even look that much worse than 4K, to be honest. And theoretically, it even improved our performance. Hank actually walked in on these two having a pillow fight and put them into the dirt to score his first win on Fortnite in months. So great stuff, Sausage. It must be the monitor, right? Moving on, and even though I think the 480 Hz is 100% a gimmick, and heck, even the 4K 240 Hz part is unrealistic unless you are using heavy frame generation, which increases input delay and creates artifacting in most games. So unless you are rocking the RTX 6000 Pro and the Ryzen 9 9950X3D2, don't expect to get 240 Hz out of this sucker when you're playing AAA games. But in saying that, all of the games that we are putting up on the screen that we are playing at 4K look absolutely exceptional on this screen, mate. The blacks are so deep and the colors pop very well. So it was a very good gaming experience, but it doesn't compare to the 5K 45-inch UltraGear, mate. That thing feels even more immersive with the added width and height along with the curve. So if you are stuck between the two for pure gaming and have an unlimited budget, pay the extra money for the 45-inch version, mate. Hank's motto in life is buy once, cry once. Now, another thing that I was disappointed in for the 32-inch monitor was the sound quality of this thing. It does come with external speakers, and it uses something called pixel sound, where the OLED panel itself vibrates to produce sound so that voiced and game audio feel more centered. But to be honest, I think it sounds horrible. I wanted to buy this thing as my main editing monitor, and I like to edit with speakers on the monitor, as most people now watch YouTube through their TV. So using external speakers gives a more realistic feel of what the audience would likely hear as opposed to editing with headphones on. And in my personal opinion, I think this 32-inch monitor sounds like garbage for the price. Have a listen to us watching the best YouTube channel in the world.
Issue is, Hank never pays the asking price for a PC, so he used the deal hunting website slickdeals.net, which tracks when these things go on sale, and he was able to purchase this rig for an unbelievable 1,488 American rock flag and eagle dollars.
So yeah, I don't know, there's just something about the voices that sounds very weird through this monitor, but let's compare it to the 45-inch UltraGear, which just uses normal built-in 10-watt speakers.
It'll probably be fine, but I think having an extra ARGB fan at the back would make it look a lot better, because it looks a bit empty right now with only 3 fans on the inside. Secondly, even with all of the ARGB on in the case...
So yeah, I don't know how well it comes across through the camera, but to me it sounds 1,000,000 times better in person, and these speakers are described as being rich in bass. So maybe that explains the difference, but to be honest, if you're exclusively a headphone user using this for gaming, it won't matter, mate, but it's just something I noticed that let me down with the 32-inch monitor. In terms of actual text clarity, the 32-inch UltraGear looks a bit more sharp than its 45-inch counterpart, as it has a higher pixel per inch density. But honestly, both monitors look amazing. On top of that, I find doing productivity work like typing, for example, much more better on the 32-inch monitor. The curve makes it feel a bit distorted, to be honest, but it's still okay on the 45-inch one. Now, obviously, because this is an OLED monitor, LG does include the usual OLED care features for both, like pixel cleaning and screen protection settings. But if you are using this all day for editing with static timelines, window taskbars, and Premiere panels open all day, it's probably good to hide your taskbar, use a screensaver, and take a break every now and then to be on the safe side. Overall though, while I do enjoy typing much more on the 32-inch UltraGear, when it comes to editing, there is just so much more space to move stuff around on the screen, and coming from that down to the 32-inch monitor, it just feels too small in comparison to work effectively in Premiere Pro. The final point I'll make where the 45-inch monitor clearly takes the cake is its versatility. It can be used as a monitor for something like a sim rig, and it looks absolutely amazing, where you'd need 3 of these 32-inch monitors to do that properly. It also has that TV feel thanks to its size, so it's better for watching movies or watching the Glizzy build a PC on YouTube. So the final question is, who is this 32-inch monitor actually for, anymore given its stupid crazy price point and its very high refresh rate? Well, this monitor is for the sweaty virgin gamers like Hank who have an unlimited budget and who want a flat, sharp, stupid fast OLED without turning their desk into an IMAX movie theater. If you mainly play competitive shooters like Fortnite, Valorant, Counter-Strike, Warzone, Rocket League, or anything where you want the whole screen in front of you without moving your head, but then you also want the option to switch it to 4K and for some reason get 240 Hz, the 32-inch makes way more sense than the 45-inch, but you really need to have very good hardware to be able to push those frames. If you are buying it brand new, it is also much cheaper than the $1,700 price point of the 45-inch monitor as well, but I mean, heck, we saw people selling these 32-inch UltraGears on Facebook Marketplace for $650, which is a pretty fantastic deal for this high-end hardware. Whereas we were pretty lucky to get this 45-inch monitor open box for $1,100, which a lot of other people in the comments said they got it for a similar price as well. But looking on Facebook Marketplace, you might also be able to snag one of these 45-inch monitors for $900 if you are good at lowballing. Now click the right-hand corner if you want the full 45-inch review by itself. Otherwise, me and the Glizzy love ya. Goodbye.